Hello, happy Wednesday. I just want to get on here and give you an update. We have some things that are going on, and so it seems to me like things constantly are changing up there, and so we still have 60 plus days until the legislature is going to convene for this session. And so one thing I want to bring up is about tomorrow. We have a public hearing on House Bill 2572. And so what this bill is, this is a bad one. And I'll put the comment in the comments here so you guys can kind of see what it is. But it's the paramilitary bill. And so what that does is it basically makes it illegal for us to train together. It could be bad for church security. Anybody that involves anything that we like to do and incorporates guns and assembly type gatherings, right? And so this is going to get a public hearing tomorrow. It's going to be in the Rules Making Committee, which I looked at the layout there, so it looks like it's 4-3 in that committee. And so that's something that we have to be aware of. And so what it does is it tries to criminalize our behavior. And so they call it's all about safety, but obviously it violates our First Amendment rights, our right to peaceful assembly, all sorts of different things. Also, it also takes away our ability to be armed in that situation. And while it would be good to be able to actually go after paramilitary groups like Antifa, it's really not designed for them. It's going to be more designed for us, law-abiding citizens. And so I want to get on here and kind of give you guys an update and let you guys know that's what's happening. Finally got the camera system all set up and dialed, and I feel really, really good about it. So now I'll be able to put on some really good stuff and get some people into the group and have discussions and figure out what this looks like for us going forward. And so I put a lot of time and effort and energy and figuring this stuff out so I could be better at what I'm doing for you guys. And I hope it works out. And so I appreciate you guys tuning in, and I just want to give you this update. It's seems like times we can't catch a break, and I know that this is just part of the process. Is they're trying to wear us down. They're trying to make it where we give up and we don't show up, and that's how they're going to get victory here. And they want us to kind of check out because they're used to us not being involved and they're used to us not being engaged. And so this is something that's new for them. We're in uncharted territory, but they're also in uncharted territory because they're not used to having us showing up. And so what I'm going to do here is once I'm done with this video, I'll make sure that I put all the information in the video so you guys, we can submit public testimony right now. So we can be writing testimony. We can spend 15 to 20 minutes tonight submitting. I'll put the link in here to make it easy for us to do so. But once we do that, it's going to be all part of the record, and this is going to go to the rulemaking committee tomorrow, and this is going to be part of the record, and it's going to follow this along. So this bill was dead for quite a while, and it just picked up traction today, and so that's where we got some movement there. And so Dave, let's talk about this one. Let's talk about the senators. And so what happened today, and from what I read, and I had a couple conversations with people up there inside the Capitol building, is this was just kind of a protest. This didn't necessarily, it was kind of a token gesture. Obviously, it was symbolic because of the way the Democrats changed the rules. And so yesterday, you'll notice if you watch the live stream, what was going on the House floor is we actually had one of our reps that brought up the fact that they had changed the rules, yada, yada. The Democratic whip said, nope, that is not going to be allowed in here. So they didn't even get to bring up the fact that the rules have been, altered or modified without our representatives or our senators having a vote in the matter. Because in reality, what's supposed to happen is if there's any changes to the way the rules go, every representative, every senator or representative is allowed to, vote yay or nay. And so they didn't get this opportunity. And So today, what they did, the senators, they walked out, and so it could be seen a couple ways. Like, we got to look at a political aspect here, and obviously this is going to be emboldening, our enemy, the Democrats, in this situation. The article that I read, it was really, verbally abusing the Republicans for doing what they did. And so, I don't know if everybody knows what quorum is. Okay, so quorum is, and the media does a really, really good job saying that this is antiquated. This is not something that we should even have in this state. There's a lot of states that don't have the quorum rules, but it's a procedural vote. So what that means is there has to be a certain amount of either representatives or senators present in the floor for them to have a quorum. Okay, so that means, like, there has to be a majority there, right? And so if there isn't enough people to hold the vote, and obviously this is just, I'm not an expert on this. This is stuff that I'm learning. And so, please don't hold me to this. I'm trying to get you the best information, but I'm just trying to give you, what quorum is and what it looks like. And so, so basically if they deny quorum, that basically denies the majority the ability to take their vote, to be able to push their agenda. And so there's been a lot of talk about denying quorum. Some people understand the consequences, others do not, and I understand that there are going to be ramifications if they do deny quorum. And part of it is, they're going to lose their opportunity to run for re-election. They're going to face a fine after 10 days. And this is because of Measure 113, which was a constitutional amendment on the same grounds as Measure 114. They ran them at the same time. The difference between Measure 114 and Measure 113 is Measure 114 only passed by, just under 1% of the vote. Okay. With the quorum rule, the Measure 113, that passed 70% to 30, right? And so, it is, if we look at the polling, we look at the people that voted, it wasn't a popular bill because people do not like the aspect of quorum and denying quorum. And I think the reason they don't like that is because they don't understand what it means. And so I think what the legislators have done a really good job at, the media has done a really good job, is demonizing the Republicans for leaving the building to deny quorum, because that's the only option that we had as the minority. Okay, so that's the one thing that I will say here is, used to be that was our only move, and people got mad, like, why were you doing this? Why did you deny quorum? Yada yada yada, and so that's the thing is denying quorum used to be a really effective tool because that's the only tool that we had. And so what we're looking at now with the passing of Measure 113 is, obviously, our legislators, they get 10 excused absence per legislative session, right? And so if they burn those up, then they incur a daily fine, and then they also, at the end of the term, they can't run for re-election. And so basically, and we look at the numbers, right? So the numbers are, we have 25 Republican senators or representatives, excuse me, and then we have about 13 Republican senators, right? So in theory, okay, let's play hypotheticals here. If we were to say today and deny quorum, and everybody walks out, we still have 60 days left in the session. So they're going to get 10 excused absences, right? And then there's still going to be 50 days left in the session. Okay, so then they're going to be getting personal fines. The Oregon State Police can be ordered to bring them back to the building. I don't know if that is incarceration or they just escort them back to the building. And also after that, they have to, they lose their opportunity to run for re-election. Okay, which, depending on who it is, it could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, right? Depending on who that representative or that senator is. We have, some good ones that are trying to work on our behalf within the bounds of the rules that have been set forth by the Oregon legislature. But we also have ones that are not necessarily our friends. So we could honestly say, okay, well, we'll take our chances and have to replace 37 bodies altogether. The problem with us, and conservatives and people on our side is our attention span is so short, right? And let's say we have a year and a half left in this senator's, set in his election, are we going to remember what he did to deny quorum, and are we going to have somebody ready to go to replace that person? Because what's going to happen is the other side is going to use that as a campaign issue, and they're going to try to, they're going to say, oh, this bad Republican, this is why he needs to replace. He denied quorum, yada yada yada. Even though the quorum is the only move that we really have, honestly, but it comes at a serious cost. And so obviously I'm not an expert on this stuff. This is stuff I'm just giving you a brief layman's view as the way I interpreted the information that I got today. And so, that's what I wanted to kind of touch base on that today is, because I knew there's going to be some questions. There was some pictures yesterday a picture that I put in there about the lawsuit. Okay. So that caused a lot of controversy because, some saw it as a photo op. It was a photo op, really. In reality, I'm gonna call a spade a spade. It was a photo op, and we don't know where that money's going to go. And we're hoping it can be used in a way that it's going to help stop this stuff. But the way it was viewed as like, well, these people should have walked out of the building. So there was a lot of strife there. And so, I'm kind of in the middle here, and I'm just trying to, weigh out the information, be able to present the information to you guys in a way that you guys will understand it, and either support it or not support it, or like figure out, is this a route that we want to take as a group, as a collective? And so that's kind of where I was at. I spent a lot of time, talking with people that I trusted up there to kind of figure out, what's the temperature, what do we do, what does all this stuff look like for us? And so, we had some really good talks, and so, part of me presenting this information tonight was I'm talking devil's advocate. Like, I'm not saying this is something that I support, but these are the facts, right? These are the things that in reality would happen if we go this route. And I definitely want everybody to know the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm not going to blow smoke. I'm going to, because all I have here is my reputation, and all I can do is make sure that I keep motivating people to do the work that we need to do, to stay engaged and stay involved, so we can hopefully make something out of all of this stuff. And so that's kind of where I'm at. And we just have to know this is all part of the process. And it is getting ridiculous. Nothing of this is about criminals. This is about making us criminals. This is about disarming us. This is about taking away our ability to defend ourselves. Also, the ability about taking away our ability to have firearms. Right? If they turn us into felons, we can't have firearms. It's also, in a way that it's turning it out where we can't even vote. So there's so many things that could be done if we all become felons. And you think bad things are bad now, like you take a big cross section of our society out of the mix because we're all criminals now. They're what they have, the majority they have right now is going to be a super majority. There's nothing that we can do, and so that's kind of where I want to go today, is just to make sure you guys know where we're at, what we're doing, and hopefully we can stop this stuff. And and it just, we're not going to be able to do it unless we come together. And I feel like we are coming together, but it's just it's a lot. It's overwhelming. And so tomorrow we have a public hearing in Salem. I believe I read it's in HRC. Let me look real quick. So this is in hearing room C. This one is going to go. It starts at 1 p.m. There will be a link to testify. You guys can submit testimony online. You can also testify online as well via Zoom, which I really encourage you to do so. Or you can be in person at 1 p.m. and they'll probably go back and forth. But we have to look at what we saw yesterday. There's going to be a lot of red shirts. I guarantee it, because this is something they have called us the militia from day one. They think that we are the militia. And so this bill is designed to come after us. And so, that's where we're at. And so, that's the thing, and we have to understand what's at stake here. And so, Dave, let me pull this one up, Dave. Absolutely, absolutely, and it's whether or not, which technically, Dave, this is a violation of your First Amendment right. We have a right to civil disobedience. We have a right to protest, right, under our First Amendment rights. We also have the right to lawful assembly, and so us exercising our First Amendment right, while enjoying our Second Amendment right as training. That's something that's another violation of our constitutional protected rights, and so that's why I think what we have to be aware of is they are trying to put us all in these little boxes, and they're trying to make it as challenging as they can for us, because they do not understand us. They don't want to take the time to get to know us. And they're basically painting us all with this broad brush, and so one of the guys yesterday, Anderson, he was the guy wearing the bow tie, talked about open carry barbecue picnics at a park, that he had all of his constituents were running out of the park because they're afraid of guys that are open carrying while barbecuing. It's just a total scam. You have to understand the way we're being perceived by those that understand us, and so that's the biggest thing. And everything we tried to do yesterday, we're showing them in business attire, is we're trying to change the way we're viewed by them. And I don't know what else to do. I think that what we did yesterday, that was something that I think was, from an optics standpoint, I think we did really, really well. And that we had some victories, and I want to celebrate those. And so when we talk about drama, drama is something that they need. Drama, okay? They need. So and we look about this, the people that we have in power that are in charge right now, that are going to vote party lines, what they need is they need a permanent underclass. They need a permanent victim class, so they can pretend like they're going to be the savior, all while taking advantage of the system. They're changing the rules, and they're also putting all of us at risk by making us all criminals, right? Plus safety. And they talk about gun safety. Today I actually heard and read in the paper it was gun safety. Like, how is turning us all into felons going to be as a gun safety issue? It's not, because we're not the ones committing crime. And I don't know, outside of submitting letters to the editor, how we change that. And because that's the only, like, inside this group, we have the echo. This is considered the echo chamber. Inside the echo chamber, we can control what type of information gets in and out, right? In the situation we're dealing with, the public, with the media, our legislature, our elected officials, the public, the red shirts, there's a free flowing, type of information that we can do very little to stop or control. All we can do is figure out a way to get little interjections into the system where we can build something upon, right? And so it's, the drama sells ad space. The drama, you look here in the group, okay? So typically when I put stuff into the group, if it's a negative thing, it's going to get lots of traction. If it's going to be a positive thing, it gets a lot of traction. So you have to understand how social media works and how the algorithms drives, more negative stuff than it really does the positive stuff. And so, that's kind of something we have to understand. This is a really awesome one. So Travis, I really appreciate you. You had some good stuff today. And so what it talked about is we got to look at history. Like, look at history. And we brought up yesterday history. We look at the tradition of our 2A. Like, it was ratified in 1791, right? We have a rich tradition of building our own firearms dating back to the 1600s. Okay. I have a good friend, Ashley Hublinski. That's what she does. She's a historian. She's been on the History Channel, and she is the go-to gal when it comes to the history usage of our firearms. And I would love to have her here so she can kind of talk about history. So we can talk about in common use. We can talk back, they want to talk about all this stuff that isn't relative, because they want to say, well, you shouldn't be able to have a gun that fires multiple rounds. Well, you shouldn't be able to communicate via an iPhone if that's the same, if we're going to speak this way, right? So, our rights stay the same. Our technology will advance. That's what our founding fathers envisioned in the beginning of this country. And so, that's kind of where we're at. So Rick, tomorrow, the testimonies will start at 1 p.m. or after 1. We saw yesterday it took 15 to 20 minutes to get things started. After that, the public hearings have been pretty good. They run on time for the most part because they're smaller. They're more, they're formal, but they're more informal, right? Because it's open to the public. We can sit right inside the room. There's going to be an online portion, so you can testify via Zoom, which, if you feel more comfortable not leaving the house or the office, that's a great option for you. So I'm going to probably submit testimony tonight. I'll put the link in there, and so you guys can submit your own testimony. And so, that being said, it's like we have to keep involved and stay up to date with this. This is like, if we do not stop this, if we take our foot off the accelerator, they are going to win. And I'm not saying that what we're doing right now is going to be the end all be all of what's happening up there, but this is the only fighting chance that we have. There's other people have other opinions, but this is from my perspective is, the numbers are not going to lie. We can submit testimony and flood that and outnumber. I need to look at the testimony. Let me pull this up. Let me see if I can look at this real quick and see what the testimony is already seeing, and see what the numbers. So opposition. Okay, good. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna see if this will allow me to do so. So give me 1 second. Let's see if this will work. Okay, give me 1 second. So it's not allowing me, so I'll have to figure that out, and then I'll do it some other time. But I have the ability to share my screen, and so I'm looking at this. So opposition, oppose, unknown, support. There's a few supports. So there's somebody from the DOJ supporting this. League of Women Voters. So opposition. There's lots of good opposition. Okay, so that's good. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to jam pack this. Okay, so our homework for tonight is to submit testimony. Okay, I'll put a link in here right now. Okay, so I have this where everybody's here. After you're done with the video, you can go directly to this link, and I'll put this in there. And so this is the link to submit testimony, right? And so, which it might give me a hard time because I got it through Facebook. So that's our thing. So we have to submit testimony. Okay, so make sure, really, really important stuff. Okay, if we're going to submit testimony tonight, it has to say opposition. Okay, I wish I could share my screen so I could show you the box to look at. But when you're submitting the testimony, it's going to ask you support, oppose, or neutral. We do not want any neutral. Okay, that's good. They're automatically going to discount that. They're going to throw it out, even though they're not even going to read your testimony. Okay, it has to say opposition. Okay, probably the best way to do it is you can do it if you're doing it on your phone. You can just do the PDF text testimony, and that way it'll give you. You can go. I believe it's 4,000 characters, so you can write a lot. Okay. And so once you do that, you enter your email address, and then you hit submit. It's going to automatically upload to OLIS, and we're going to be in business. Okay, it's really, really important that you hit opposition. Okay, oppose. Okay, it's really, really important. And so that being said, from the same screen, I can back up one screen or two screens. Excuse me. and I can go register to testify. Okay, so I'm gonna put this link as well, the register to testify in this video, and so everything will be there. I'll follow up with a separate post with the instructions on what we need to do. Okay, like this is really we want to flood them, and this is how we're going to continue to get in the newspaper. This is the only way we're going to get the coverage that we need. Is we have to outwork them. We have to spend 15-20 minutes tonight. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just say, the gist of it is this is a violation of my First Amendment right. It's a violation of my right to free speech. Also, peaceful assembly. Also, it takes away my ability to train. Training is a good thing for us in society because we want trained citizens. Okay, so making that a criminal penalty is actually counterproductive to the safety you're trying to make happen here. And so, that's absolutely, Dave. Let's see what here. I'm going to get off here. Let me go to this other one. So, Dave, what we're working on is I would love to develop some shirts, figure out who we have in the group that's, got some, graphic design work that can help us with a logo, come up with a common theme, a message, and have these shirts that match. And so we show up, with 50 of us or 100 of us with matching shirts that are going to counter these red shirts. That's going to be huge. They are going to start listening. I guarantee you, after what happened yesterday, they are going to start listening. They're going to start paying attention when we start showing up, especially if we're all looking the same. They knew who we are and they know what we're about. And you notice we went into the building. We were professional, we were calm, we were quiet, we were respectful, and we were everything that they said that we weren't. And so, that was huge. So it just comes down to we have to figure out, what it all looks like going forward as a group. And so, it's just we're just polishing this stuff. We're just, we're getting better. We're getting better at everything. We're getting more tech savvy. We have people showing up. We have people that are writing testimony. We have people that are submitting testimony. I mean, we are getting better. And so where we are a year ago from where we are night and day ahead of that. And so we have to celebrate that and understand that we are making progress. And, it's going to be small. It's going to be incremental, but it's a step in the right direction. And so, we just got to make sure that we stay up to date and we just keep doing the work. And, I don't want to waste a lot of your time. Like, I want to give you a task because I'm going to do the task, right? Everything I'm going to say that I'm going to do, I would love for you to do the same. And so, that's kind of where I'm at. Is I'm never going to not do something that I wouldn't expect someone else to do, and I'm always going to be available for anybody because I'm part of this and I'm in this machine, and I count on you guys. And I know we have hope finally for once. Like I feel hopeful, and there's a lot of stuff that it's hard, but I feel that if we hold on to the hope, that's how we're going to build something. So that's kind of where I'm at. So just be aware. So let's look at the other bill. So let's look at 2005. Let's see what happened there. I'm gonna add my screen. Let's see what happened there. And it did technically get its first reading today. It's a statutory thing. I don't know if they actually read it. Actually, the first reading. Oh, so it got moved tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be the first reading. I thought it was going to be today, so that's good. So it didn't get the first reading today in the Senate, so that bought us another day. So that's good. We have to understand, It's not good. So, that's kind of where we're at. So, I hope everybody had a good day. I'm trying to figure out what we maneuver, how we do it. I mean, I think the walkout today, I think it brought a lot of awareness to, what they tried to do yesterday and they were shut down. So I think that was a good thing. So, whatever they can do, at least they did something, right? And we always complain that they're not doing enough. At least they did something today, right? Whether you agree or disagree, at least they did something. And so it's just, we don't know enough yet. And what I'm working on doing is bringing, okay. Yeah, Dave, cool. I didn't read that part. So maybe that makes sense. Okay. So the walkout. So that's perfect. Okay. So that's a good thing about us today, right? But how do we sustain that? That's the thing. And so it's a challenge. And so my plan is the next couple of days, I'm going to figure out some reps or senators that want to come on here. I'll be able to bring them on to this platform that I have here, and I can do like a side-by-side screen where I can ask questions. You can ask questions. What we'll do is we'll have a live chat Q&A. And so, that way you guys can kind of see, what's going on, and they can answer the questions, because they're definitely going to know better than me, and they can talk about what they can do, what they cannot do. And so that'll help kind of figure out, what this looks like for us going forward. And so, that's the only thing we can do at this point. And so, I know it's a lot to think about, and there's a lot of moving parts, and there's still a lot of time. I think that's the hardest part for me, is it's exhausting. And I know you guys are trying to keep up with all this stuff, and plus working full time and all this stuff. Absolutely. So Dave, I'll get you a map. Okay. I'll show you a map, and I'll put that so we'll know who our rep is, who our senator is. Dang it, my papers are over there. I actually have, numbers like what person, what they ran the last election cycle, what they won by. Like the guy that I was hoping, like my hand grenade, Rep Ruiz, he only won by 800 votes. Okay. Like this guy, he's really unpopular because he already bucked his party once with the school safety bill. And he is actually, for a Democrat, he's a reasonable thinking person. I've met with him twice. I've met with his staff. So like I was counting on him for him to do the right thing yesterday because of the way it's going to impact people of color in his district. And unfortunately, he went with the party line because he knew he was going to get beat up by them. And so at that point, so now we don't have any choice. So now we're going to deploy the hand grenade, and he's going to be primary. That's what we're going to do. And so we already have the lady, she's talked about or committed to rerunning. And so we're going to, put support behind her and get her into that seat and get him gone. And that's one seat. And that puts us closer to probably the 5 or 6 that we need on the House side. But we also have to hold 25. So that is the challenge. The challenge is holding 25 and then picking up 5 or 6. And because we need a majority. So we need 31, like what they have. We need 31 to 29 is what we need. And so that's what we need. And on the Senate side, it's currently 15-12. I was told last night because we have somebody that's out because of illness as well. So it's 15-12. So we actually need 2 to get a tie for this thing to die. So there's lots of maneuvering that has to be done. And so Dave. All right, we already talked about this. I'm here to support and help facilitate but my mission with the kids is too important. That's why I'm going to do whatever I can to, help every step of the way. But it's just not my cards. I'm sorry. I know. We're good. We're good. It's something that. What's Take No Prisoners look like? Let's talk about that. Yeah, no, thanks, Dave. I appreciate you, man. Let's talk about that. Please explain, what does Take No Prisoners look like? What do we mean by that? Well, let's say that I put that out on my personal page to the public. How could that be viewed? What will my neighbors, my friends, my families think if they saw a comment that said "Take no prisoners"? What would that look like? And so I love to hear kind of what you meant by that. Obviously, I know it was probably not a derogatory thing. I just want to think about the way, comments can be taken out of context, how they can be used against you, so, I'm just looking out for you, and I'm looking out for us as gun owners. Is like, I don't advocate like saber rattling. This is not the time to saber rattle. This is the time to do the work. They want us to act emotionally so they can justify their overreach. Okay, perfect. That's all I need. Yeah. No, I saw that. I'm like, oh well, what do we mean by that? We hoisting black flags? I mean, and you're good. You're good, Darcy. That's what you meant. And so I 100% support that. And I will, that's the only thing that we can do is have each other, and absolutely perception, they paint us. They want us to do something reactive. They want us, they are salivating, and it's just like they just poke us. They're like poking us with sticks. They're just, come on, just come on, snake. We know you want to strike, and that's what they're doing. And so what we do is we can't feed into that. We have to just like suck it up and go to our happy places and just beat them the way we need to beat them. And this stuff we're doing is a grassroots campaign. It's nothing like what they do. The other side, they have what's called astroturfing, right? So astroturfing is basically, they call it grassroots, but it's not grassroots. It's basically, they are paying everybody to be there. The people show up. They don't even have red shirts on. These people were taking red shirts out of the plastic and putting it on in front of us in as we're waiting to go into the House chambers, and so, it is sad. It is so sad. Everybody one of us that showed up yesterday took time out of their day, their schedules. They missed work. They did it on their own free will. And, they paid for parking. They did all of this stuff. And it didn't cost us as Oregon gun owners a dime. And it was natural. It was something that was legitimate. And I tried doing taking the videos and putting them in here, like the courtesies. But for some reason, as I was screen capturing them, the sound wasn't working. So I wasn't able to. I'll try again tonight, maybe when I'm laying down. But I'm going to try to, because I think it's important that we document this stuff. Is we put it out, like, this is what we did. This is our accomplishment. Maybe we build a file here in the group where, like, this is a thing that we can celebrate, and this is what we've done. These are our accomplishments, and maybe this is a way for us to track this out, as a timeline. This is where we started. Okay, we started back in, like, I've been in this over a year, in this situation over a year. It was at the beginning of March of last year when, like, I turned it on and started, and it was measure. Give me 1 second. Hey, Dave. So it's not like this. That's really, really important, right? So, messaging is something I'm really, really good at. Something that I've spent a lot of time developing the way I put out information, right? And so Some of it is the messaging, right? Messaging with the imaging is like that's my lane. And so we're talking about what did we do? Like that is getting into my lane. And that's a great thing. So now we start thinking about, so let's start figuring out what, what's our getter, right? So what I mean what's our getter is what kind of message do we want the other side to see, right? They're saying moms demand action. That's their thing, right? And my counter to that is, what is our response? What is our response to that? And demand. When we talk about demands, that's a pretty narcissist view, because what it does is it doesn't take outside opinion well, right? And so what I mean by that is, when I say I'm a mom, I demand action, right? That means I'm discrediting, I'm discounting someone on the other side, their experience, their perception, their views, their cultures, all of that stuff. And so it's a very aggressive, and it's like a big old middle finger, right? And so what I would love to do is figure out a way to present the stuff in a way where it counters that. So we look like we're the reasonable ones. That's what I want to do, like everything we're doing. So this is getting us talking about the conversation, right? So what did we do, right? So that's a good thought, right? The problem is they have to think about it. And if they have to think about it, they're not going to think about it the way we want them to think about it, right? So in reality, it's a great idea to start this process and figuring out like what our messaging is. But it also, it puts us in a position where they're going to trip up on the message, and all the message is going to be lost. I guess that's what I would say. But I really like that. Messaging is going to be really, really important going forward. Especially if we come up with any kind of, same colored shirts. My friends with the DC project, they have the teal for 2A, right? And so they wear teal shirts. I have some of their teal shirts. Maybe, I'm not saying I don't want to copy their brand. If there's a way for us to, supplement the brand, that would be really, really good, because then we have, something that's, we're broadening our base, right? And so there's just lots to do, and we don't have a lot of time to do it. That's the problem. So, I like this, Dave. That's good stuff. So keep that up. So I don't, I want to get on here so I can give you guys kind of an update for tomorrow, so we can be prepared. One thing that we have to worry about tonight is, making sure that we can submit testimony, right? Because the testimony, we have to run up the scoreboard on that. That's the only way. They're going to count this stuff, and right now, the testimony. There's lots of stuff that's coming in opposition. This is good stuff. So I really, really appreciate that. I mean, it doesn't take too much. And I love seeing my friends that I know from this group or in public being part of this. I really love seeing that. And let's look at what somebody from on the other side says why they should support this bill. Okay, let's look at this. Come on. Give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. Oh. Kind of helps if you look at the right bill. Stand by. So Kevin Starrett, good. So let's see what Ronnie Daniels said. Ronnie Daniels is not on our side. Everything is in bold. Okay, Ronnie. Ronnie's actually on our side, but he clicked the wrong I'm sorry, I clicked the wrong one. Ronnie's good. I looked at the wrong one. I apologize, Ronnie. You did good. I was like, so oppose, support. There's a support. Okay, what does that look like? So they're talking constitutional, yada, yada, yada. So what they're trying to do with this bill is they're actually trying to hold us liable, right? So if something were to happen, they would hold us liable as well. So I missed that part of the bill. I just kind of briefly looked at it. Like I already know it's a no for me. So they're talking Supreme Court. Oh, District of Columbia versus Heller. Huh. Mr. Heller would love to hear this. So anyways, they're citing the District versus Heller. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Heller decision. So it's a historic, it's back in DC, and basically Dick Heller, he's a hero. He sued and won because they took away his ability to carry a gun concealed. Also, they tried to regulate how he was to store his firearm inside of his home, and he won in the Supreme Court. And so, like, I met him a couple times. He's a cool guy. Maybe I should see if he could come on here and talk to you guys. He's a handful. And I don't know if you ever see him speak, but he is so. But he's on our side, so it's good. But that's just he's got one speed, and it's like 100%. So it's kind of funny, but he's a good dude. So, but they're citing that in this bill, and so that's where we have to be. They're whoever wrote this, right? This is with the Oregon DOJ. They are not constitutional scholars, because if they were, we wouldn't have Measure 114, right? So the fact that they're bringing this in, and then they have other stooges that are copying, pasting it into their testimony, it's just it's mind-numbing. So, Alliance for Gun Responsibility. Oh yeah, what is gun responsibility? Explain that to me. So I think we do that pretty well. So intend to affect, sanction, and mitigate private armed paramilitary groups. Protecting civil society from armed groups with intent on posing a threat should be top priority. Woo, doggies. That's pretty inflammatory. I don't know about you, but my guns are used for good. My guns have been used to help others. My guns have been used to provide security for others. Prevent looting. My guns did that one time, or for a couple days there, and that was in 2020 during the fires. So, it's frustrating. And that's where we have to look at the optics. We have to look at the perception, right? Because they're never, ever going to look at the mirror and say those black masks that they put on for the Summer of Peace, right? They're never going to accept responsibility for that, right? So what they're going to do is they're going to pick on us, and they're going to call out open carry rallies. They're going to call out people that show up to the Capitol building in full kit. That's what they are talking about. They are trying to prevent us from any kind of training, any kind of us, speaking out against what's happening up there in the Capitol. And so this is something, we have to be aware of, and this is something we have to push back on and stop it. So we do that by writing testimony saying that we have the right to do so under Oregon revised statute. It's legal for us to do so. We have Section 1, Article 27 of the Oregon Constitution that says that we have the right to keep and bear arms, right? It's in the Oregon Constitution. We also have the federal Second Amendment, right? So we also have the First Amendment, right? So these are all things that we have working in our favor that it's going to trump their perception, right? But we have to understand how their perception is now affecting us and everything that they're doing. Okay. So, Callista. So lots of good opposition. So that's good stuff. So I'll put a link. I'll do another post. I'm going to get off here, and I'll do another post, and I'll kind of put all the information here. I'm going to write testimony tonight, and I'll probably sign up for testimony tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to go up there. I might do it online, but I'm going to, the problem with doing online, and I've found is they always cut me off. They always say, "Oh, this guy, for some reason it's not working," and so they call on me. Nothing ever happens, and so, we just have to understand it's just all part of the process. So please write testimony tonight. Please tell your friends, tell your neighbors. We need to overwhelm them. I'm looking at this. We're looking really, really good. So let's get another 200 to 500 tonight if we can. That's kind of the thing here is if we can do that, and then we sign up for submit testimony tonight, and then testify tomorrow at 1 p.m. We're gonna be good, and so that's. Give me 1 second, Greg. I'll get you just 1 second. So let's see. Sam, so I really appreciate that, and so we gotta come together, and what I love. Like, we all cherish these rights, but these rights are all under attack. And what they're trying to do is erase these rights because they think that they can just use, Control Alt Delete to delete our rights. And as long as I'm here and I'm doing what I'm doing in the community, I will never, ever allow that to happen. I know there's people in here with me that are going to do the same. We're all going to come together in this situation. And we are going to stand up for everybody. And, especially the ones that need, the people that are in need the most, people that have disabilities, people of color, mothers, single mothers. We're going to protect those people, and we're going to elevate the platform to give them a voice so we can stop this stuff. And, that's the only thing that we can do. And so let me see. Is it over the 2A? I'm confused with your comment, Travis. I'm sorry. So let's see. Let's look at this one. Yeah. Yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. And it is going to criminalize possession of that outside of your home. Like, transporting is going to be illegal. So there is some major problems with this stuff, and that's the important thing, is we have to understand what they're doing to us and what they're proposing, but we also have to look at the other end. I mean, one thing we have to look at is legal battles and whether we're going to have the bandwidth, and there's a good chance we might not have the bandwidth, and so that's something that we have to be mindful of. And that's what I'm trying to kind of sound the alarms here, is like, this is like really serious stuff. And so, if we don't figure out how to stop this proactively, there's a good chance that we're not going to have the ability to fight this in court. And it's a numbers game. We don't have the funding, and we don't have the infrastructure. We are tied up in court right now. It's a big game to them because, they enjoy this because they're spending our money and they're putting us in the poorhouse, putting us in the verge of bankruptcy, all while they're spending tax dollars, and so part of that is we get the victory, maybe we can get that stuff recouped, but we have to win first. And it's like, how long is that going to take? So that's just something to think about, and so with 2005, yes, they're going to, what we're going to do, we're still going to build guns. Like, I don't care what they say, I'm still going to do what I do. I'm gonna, that's where we come. I will not comply, and that's the only option that I have, because I'm not the one breaking the law. It's legal for me to do so. Sometimes it's a safety issue. I have to modify a firearm, and it's something. It could be a liability issue. Like if there's a part that goes bad, I have to be able to modify that firearm. And so if you're going to consider that like a ghost gun or a ghost build, or if I put a handguard on or switch something out to make it more comfortable and more controllable, like that still has to be able to be done. And so, we just have to know our rights and know what our rights are. Obviously, I'm not advocating that we break the law, but it's like, you have to understand, when you put so many laws and you put us in this position, it's impossible for us to be compliant. And so it doesn't matter what we do to be compliant, there's going to be still something that we're going to violate, and that's potentially where we're going to be a criminal. And so it's like, okay, well, what do we do? What we're trying to do now, we're trying to fight it and we're trying to stop it, but that's the thing. So Dave, so I really, so lawsuits are a good thing. I did a lot of when this thing first went into effect, when we got tied up in court, I started looking at civil rights attorneys, right? Because I wanted to bring a class action lawsuit. Okay, class action lawsuit against. I was thinking the clergyman, right? I was thinking lift every voice, right? So if we started bringing lawsuits civilly against these people and suing them civilly, I am not an attorney. I play one here on Facebook. I know attorneys, but if we could put somebody on this task, and maybe I can task you with this, Dave, because you're the one that really kind of seems to really be down for this. If you could find a civil rights attorney and give me some information where we could bring, a collective, right? And we could do like a class action lawsuit against them and sue them civilly for violation of our civil liberties, right? This is how we're going to change this stuff. They are not going to, they're going to think twice if there's a lien on their home. They're going to think twice if we take away their ability to live their cush lives, right? And all while they're trying to do the same thing to us, right? They're trying to take away our ability to enjoy our civil liberties the way we want to, right? And we're not the ones committing these crimes. Like, focus on the criminals. I saw a rep yesterday that was talking about like heightened, gun crimes, like for criminals. Like, that's what we should be doing. We should be making it more painful for them to be criminals. That's what we should be doing. Let's talk about this. So what does that mean? So yes, if you want to report back to me, Dave, and figure that out, that'd be great. And if you can get a couple of them, like have a list, and then we can figure out and find out what the cost would be, like if they need a retainer, how many people, so what we could do is we could put together a class action lawsuit and we can go after them. And so that'd be something going on the offense. I'm all about going on the offense at this point. I am all about it. That's the only way we're going to stop this stuff, because we can change their momentum. If we hit back in a smart way, that's how we can make these changes. And so the freckless Republicans, like, can we explain this comment? Like, what does that mean? And like, what didn't the Republicans do that you wanted to see them do? Obviously it's less than ideal what happened yesterday. I get it. But like, we weren't elected. I wasn't elected. You weren't elected. It's like, Well, sure, why not? Sure, why not? And so let me look at this. And I'm not trying to be argumentative here. Um, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm just saying, what does that mean? Okay, cool. Yeah, Jordan, we can figure that out if they're going to do any kind of civil rights. I do have a guy, Sean Colley. He's in Medford. He does Colley law. Yeah. Oh yeah. So he's a good dude. Yeah, I really like him. I don't know if he does anything civil rights related, but maybe he knows somebody. And maybe, and so Dave, this is for you. So maybe check out the Oregon Bar. And so they have a website. That's where every attorney, except for Shemaiah Fagan, because she lost her bar license. Wah, wah, wah. Um, every attorney's required to be registered with the Oregon Bar. And so, maybe you can track down who's a civil liberties lawyer there, and we can go from there. Boom. See this, Greg? Thank you. We're already fixing stuff, right? We're already fixing stuff. So let's see if we can get some costs. Let's figure out, what it would take, see if it's something they want to take on. And the way I would look at it, right, is currently our rights are being violated right now. So every day that we can't take possession of a firearm because of a background check puts single mothers at risk. It puts single parent households at risk, people of color at risk. So those people that are being denied access because of the background check system, because it's broken, their rights are being violated currently right now. So that's where we can, and so I saw something over here is, sorry about that, I lost the comment, but basically who we could sue anybody. Literally, we could literally, like, let's start suing. Like, you get sued, but let's sue them civilly. So they have to pay out of their own pocket. Okay. So let's do it this way. Let's like, if we're going to do it, let's fight smart where they can't use the weapon of the government against us. Right. So absolutely. I saw a stat. There was about 400,000 background checks done last year, Travis. That was the entire year. Typically, on an average year, it's about 350,000 background checks that are done on a good year. And so, that's the thing here is we probably had, yes. That's kind of the thing. Yeah. So yeah, I got that. Thank you, Rick. That's my friend. I really like Sean. He does really good work. I don't know, but see, the thing is, everybody's they're compartmentalized. So some of them do defense work, some do bankruptcy, others do family law. He does gun restorations, and so I don't know who does civil liberty law, and they have to be willing to take it, and we have to be able to fund it, but. Like, it's just something to think about. I don't know, but they would think twice about doing with the stuff they're doing if there was ramifications for that. I completely agree with that. So I don't know if that's possible. This right here, man. I'm sorry to hear that. Protect yourself and your boy at all times. That's hard. Yeah, you need to keep your rights. So what are you doing what do you have for security? I mean, is your place pretty secure? Do you have a plan if something were to happen? Like, what goes through this process? Do you have family member that can help you? And so, that's something, have a plan. We had to figure out. Yeah. So just got to figure that out. So yeah, that's Oregon gun rights. That's what I figured is more expungements and stuff like that. So I doubt, but he might be able to, he might know somebody through his network. So Don't we can probably look, Dave. Let's look at the Oregon Bar and see if there's a section for civil rights, and then we can kind of go from there and just figure out if this is something they want to take on. And just say it's going to be a civil lawsuit, a civil class action lawsuit. What I can do is I can do digging on all the clergymen, so I could identify plaintiffs pretty easily, and so that's what I would do is I would help you with that. Is so like this is who we want to go after. This is what they did, like. That'd be, could you imagine just showing up like you've been served? That'd be amazing. So, but we don't know. Like, what do they say? You miss 1,000 of the shots you don't take, right? So you don't know unless you try. And so, I mean, what do we have to lose? I think everything's upside at this point, so, and it'll send a message. It'll send a message. You quit messing around with our gun rights. So I if it'll work, it'll work. If not, I don't know. So yeah. Let me see if I can help you with that real quick. One second. Because I got two screens. So give me 1 second. Don't see it there. Oregon State Bar. Here it is right here. I got it. So give me 1 second. Okay. So I'll put that right here for you, Dave. So now you're off to the races. So there's the information there. So you can just click on that, and that's kind of the thing there. Yeah, Greg. No, I appreciate it. So tomorrow, hey, Greg, write testimony. That's your job tonight. Write some testimony. If you can register to testify, if you feel comfortable doing that, please do so for tomorrow for House Bill 2572. Okay. Wow. Wild. Absolutely. We all do, Greg. Yeah. So just keep yourself safe, So Dave, I submitted that information for you to check out. So you guys, you can probably go there. You can probably see bar, so members groups. Okay, let's see. Look at this. So sections, committees, leadership, student law. So for the public. Okay. So hiring a lawyer. So let's look at this. What can a lawyer do? Yada, yada, yada. I need a civil rights attorney. Or maybe we can do it without an attorney. I think you can sue in small claims court without an attorney. We just have to establish a value of how much this has cost us. So even then, I don't know if we can do it civilly. Because it's a constitutional issue. So I don't know. I'm not an attorney. I know enough to be dangerous. So, and not in a good way. So, but I've read lots of legal briefs. Like my last week was reading legal briefs. I read like 600-700 pages. So it was a lot. So, but it was what we needed to get done. All right, so I'm gonna get off here. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm gonna do a separate post for the testimony. If you guys can please submit testimony, written testimony in opposition. Make sure you click the opposition box. Okay, submit written testimony on House Bill 2572 for tomorrow. Also, if you want to testify, you can testify in person It's 1 p.m. in Herring Room C in Salem in the Capitol building. Also, you can do it via Zoom. There's going to be a link to do it, and they'll give you an option when you're registering. I'm probably going to save cost and fuel because I've spent a lot of money doing this stuff lately. I need to conserve my income, and so I'm probably going to just do it from here. And I'll use my new camera, and I'll make it look all nice. And maybe I'll do a little ticker. I'll say all gun rights are infringements in Chris's honor. That'd be kind of sweet. I can just have a little ticker there that says every gun law is an infringement. I'm just kidding, but so that's where we're at. So other than that, yeah. I think a lot of it is just we can probably get a free consultation and then figure out what it looks like. Rick, I will submit that. Yes, after I get off here, I will put two links in the group, so to make it easy as I can. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in. Just a heads up. That's where we're at, and we'll keep you posted. And thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.